Hello everyone and welcome to the stream. This is Otaku Showboat. Today is Tuesday, July 21st, 2020. If you're watching the VODs on YouTube, don't forget to comment, like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, and if you are so inclined, head on over to twitch.tv/Otaku Showboat to leave a follow to be notified when I go live Sundays, Tuesdays, and Thursdays from 10 a.m. to approximately 1 p.m. US Eastern Time. You can do all of the social stuff through the links below the video, including supporting Pyanodon's mods development at patreon.com/Pyanodon and myself at patreon.com/Otaku Showboat. So, today the door is shut, so the kittens won't be interrupting in the first half of this particular stream, as has been usual thus far. They are very playful right now in this period after they have had their breakfast, so they will ideally calm down within the next hour and a half, and then they can come in after our break. What else should I talk about before we get into the actual game? Let's see. So yesterday was the first time I have ever ordered delivery groceries. Because I was short on stuff, and my mother is up in Massachusetts right now. I don't have a driver's license, and I don't have a car. So my only option if I need to get stuff, if she's not here, is to walk like 1.4 miles to the Walmart, or buy stuff through delivery online, which is what I did. I ordered groceries through Whole Foods, Amazon delivery through Whole Foods, because there just so happens to be one like right in the city next to us, so they offer delivery services in our area, which is pretty good. It's also pretty expensive, so there's that too. Pretty expensive stuff, but there's things that I needed to get, so I got things that I needed to get. I forgot one thing though that I should have thought about, but it didn't. It just slipped my mind. Fortunately, I can live without it for a few days. Uh, so my mother's spending a couple extra days up in Massachusetts to help with going through and clearing out some of the stuff from my grandmother's home. Uh, my uncle is also there too, so he lives there, and he's the one who's going to be in charge of actually selling the house, and he has to move out because he lived there too. My grandmother had gotten a reverse mortgage. I had said this a few streams ago when I said that she had passed away, and my mother's heading up to go to the funeral and start going through the stuff in the house. So they got through a bunch of the stuff. They just need to go through even more stuff because she has a lot of stuff. A lot of stuff in that house. It's a really, really big house. The Zestimate on that house through Zillow is like $650,000, just shy of $650,000 for that house on a .9 acre plot. So just shy of 1 acre on that plot of Riverside property. Yeah, the plot itself is worth a heck of a lot of money, even though the house is nice. The house does have a lot of problems with it, and it needs to sell for at least in the $400 range to cover the reverse mortgage on it. So anyway, the hope is that it'll sell in the 500,000 range, but we need to also get rid of the stuff in it, slash pick and choose what we want of the stuff in it and get rid of the rest, sell whatever is remaining. There's a ton of antiques and furniture that need to go. So yeah, stuff, things is taking longer, so they're staying a couple extra days up there. Ideally returning Thursday. Otherwise, I have to get groceries again online. But yeah, so that's the news there. So let's get into the game. Let's play Factorio. Let's play PyBlock. PyBlock, which has been updated. PyBlock has been updated, like, I think twice since the last time we met. At least the once. and the once was to fix the oil/tar density values on the map. So yay, that's fixed now. It's working. It does stuff. You may notice a few more units of copper and iron traveling along down the line. So I did a few things. I did a few things off screen. This is the base now. What's been placed for the landfill, as well as what I've gone out and explored thus far on the map. There is one source of oil that I have revealed among all this crap around me, and it is here. Unfortunately, this is a massive oil patch, so I can't actually use this oil patch with its 80 units per cycle, 80.7 units per cycle, until really late in the game. Until like tier 4 stuff. So yeah, basically the end of the game. Near enough to the end of the game before you actually get access to the building to actually tap into massive oil patches. So yay, I have one oil patch and it's not accessible until really late in the game. Huzzah! Yeah. So I have these big spots of landfill that I've gone out to around the place so that I could put down a bunch of radars. I have like 40 radars now that I can just place down in a spot and be like, reveal this map. Reveal this map for me. So I have been doing that. That is the big initial thing. There's also bunches of shipwrecks around the place. I don't particularly care about them. I like this 800k Nexalit sitting up here. I like that. I also found over here a 1582 tar, which will give me 100 per second for a little bit of time. It is about half as dense as this one that I am currently tapping. So yeah, stuff, things. There's various other patches around the place. I found a regolite rock and I found a big phosphate rock. Sadly, this is not a standard phosphate rock. This is a big one, so it will be a little bit longer before I can tap that as well. But anyway, oh yeah, also rock hole rock. That is actually somewhat useful of all the various ore rock types that we've got going around here. So yeah, that's the exploration side of things. As for actual like scaling of things, I have removed all of the red science stuff that existed up here last time. All of that red science stuff is now gone, and it is moved down onto the main bus. So the main bus now has a few extra things that weren't here last time. In particular, a proper wood setup. Proper wood setup. As well as some coal, the latex chain. So all of this here is latex with some moss input and seaweed input. I think it's both of those involved in the production of the latex. Going into the rubber stoppers, going into the glassware, hot air glassware, mind you. I am spending stone bricks for the hot air, and in fact, this is fine. In PyBlock, when you have stone on demand to be able to make the stone bricks, hot air is not that, it's not bad. Like, really always use hot air. There's no excuse not to burn the stone bricks here and just convert them into hot air. don't even need to heat them up or save the stone bricks. It's fine. It's just the little bit of extra logistics to get the stone bricks here. Or you could just make them on site if you're somewhere remote and you need hot air remotely. Just you can put down the buildings to make the stone and the foundry to do the stone bricks and into the machine to make the hot air. It's pretty fine. It's a few buildings, but you can blueprint that building and set up and use it elsewhere. Just plop it down. Just plop it down. That goes into then the petri dishes and microorganism mines for the and the cellulose for the substrate. And there's the red science. I now have every single red science that I can take. There is no more science. No more science. And I've started making the factory sumo buildings at this point. I have started making factory sumo buildings at this point. Now, where am I getting my glass? My molten glass, because there's no glass here, right? No glass production outside of this little building. Bringing in the molten. I'm bringing in the molten here to make some glass to make the petri dishes. And here's the issue, by the way. An issue that has been pointed out previously. I don't know if this is going to change, but we're double dipping on hot air bonuses here in order to make the petri dishes, the empty petri dishes. The glass has a hot air recipe to make the glass itself, and the empty petri dishes use glass and have their own hot air recipe. I think this is supposed to be molten, not actual glass. The empty petri dishes should probably be molten rather than actual glass. The problem then is that there's not actually much use for actual glass, right? Like, the actual casted glass ends up having far less value to it outside of, like, lamps and the few buildings that need it, right? There's not a ton of stuff that needs actual glass as glass that is consistently consumed. So, it's like the stuff for the science doesn't need any particular glass. The bio containers would be like the only thing needing actual glass. Because this was the big consumer of glass in sciences was through the empty petri dishes. But anyway, how am I getting that molten? I came up with a setup for the molten. It looks a little bit like this. Looks a little bit like this. It is 2 glassworks, regular glassworks, fully fed, giving 12.5 molten each, so 25 units of molten glass per second out of this. Out of all of this. It's not quite to ratio. Just bearing in mind this is not to ratio at all. Not even close. That's too many on the soil extractors, generally speaking. I overdo the soil extractors because of logistics. It's all because to make it a little bit simpler on the logistics side of things. Each washer, if the washer has to run at 100%, uses 3. Each washer uses 3 if running at 100%. I'm pretty sure. Now, this here doesn't use 2. This is actually, like, a little bit more than 2 to go into the pure sand requirement for these glassworks. So that's why it looks a little weird here. Instead of being double this for the soil to properly feed the 4 into here, it's just to get the amount of pure sand that you need. It's a little more than 2. In fact, I should have a thingy for that here. So it's the pure sand is actually technically you only need 3 on the pure sand, but when you only have 1, it's 2. so I just kept that ratio on here using the compute by factory setting. So that's the build in Hellmod right there for the molten glass. This is the build. It's just a few more of the soil extractors down here because I do 3 to 1 into the washers generally if I need the full output of the washers for sand. So there you go. That is that build for the molten glass. This build, the only input on this entire build is the fuel for these, the fluid fuel for the glassworks, as well as the solid fuel for burning the stone and gravel that come in from here. Now, this is not particularly efficient because I am using tar right now, and there are things that we can do with tar, and I plan to do that today on screen. That is to get syngas to use as my fluid fuel for glassworks buildings, basically, as well as other things that might use syngas. We don't actually need as much syngas as you might think in PyBlock. Now, all of this right here, this is 200 tar per second. So that up there is about 200 tar per second, I think, somewhere along those lines. Pretty sure it's processing 20 units of stone per second. It's not quite running this DDC at 100%. It could fit another 2 washers worth making stone. Now the stone recipe does use 2 sand. That is 2 sand, not 3, on the production of stone. Could add 2 more, doesn't need it because this was actually specifically put here to feed into this line of steam-powered quenching towers. Why steam-powered quenching towers? Because you don't get access to standard quenching towers until green science. That's the only reason. You don't get regular quenching towers until green science. We have to use the steam-powered ones. This is making iron and copper in here. It needs a bit of tar. 200, a little under 200 units. And it's designed to do 15 copper ore per second. That's what this is designed for, and you get 75% of that as iron, which yeah, that's fine. That is fine. So I have as I have all the copper and iron that I could ever desire. The unfortunate thing is that they are tied together. However, I have a solution to this. So this will really sting, I'm sure, a lot of people, but I am voiding iron and copper plates and tin and aluminium plates as well. I am voiding all of these things. Why? Because all the resources are infinite. So, sure, having a buffer, it's good so that I can just go and grab things and have that to make buildings with. Yes, that is fine. I have buffers of these things. But if we're producing more than one type of ore at a time, if one of those ore or plates backs up, it stops the process of both. So I need to get around that. I need to not have it stop. And the only way to not have it stop in either direction is to void excess amounts of both. And that keeps the process moving. It is a consistent consumer of power, but power is infinite. And I don't have to worry about that. So it's really not that important to have a backup. Like, backup is actually the enemy right now. Having a backup of stuff is bad. It is actually bad right now. It is far better to have a movement of resources than to have it accruing. At least until I can have actual separate production of the various ore types. I have not done that, however, with the chromium and lead because I do not have any demand for chromium or lead outside of buildings. I technically have soon enough a demand for tin, which is why I've done that to the aluminium and tin. And I'm also in need of duralumin, and that's a demand on the aluminium as well. So I need that pretty consistently for inserters and such. I am actually going to put these on my bus, I think. Yes. I am actually going to bus my engine units. I need to have a look and see that we are on the 4th line. Right here. 1, 2, 3. Oops, that's one too many. I think. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yep, there we go. So, why do I want some engine units here? Because I'm thinking of green science. Oops, that's... needs one of those. I'm thinking of green science right now. And green science has these things called lab instruments, which have an alternate recipe. If I search for laboratory instruments, there are two recipes here. One that uses just the equipment chassis, the optical sets, the circuits, the rubber, and the small parts, and then another one that doubles the output that uses an engine unit. That doubles the output for an engine unit. So that obviously that's the one I want to use. That uses the engine unit, and that gives me a reason to bus engine units right now. Of which I have put this into Hellmod. The plan. The plan uses stuff. Uses a significant amount of stuff. This is for 1 science per second. Not gonna happen at this phase of the game. Particularly because it uses 4.5 titanium plates per second for this. Yeah, that's a few. That's a few. A few. Yeah. Just a few units of that. And I haven't actually fully broken down everything at this point in time, but yeah, it's a few units of titanium. How are the biosamples made? So the biosamples, that's what's using the titanium, by the way. The biosamples, if I can find it in here. So biosamples have a recipe unique to PyBlock. That is biocontainers plus moss plus seaweed plus wastewater plus phytoplankton plus Zogna bacteria. That is how you get your biosamples. Unfortunately, this isn't done in a building that would take biocontainers as a fuel source. I would have much preferred this had its own building using the biocontainers as fuel, but that gets around a bit of an exploit with modules later on down the line. I'm going to productivity the crap out of this once I get access to modules, but it's going to be nowhere near as useful as if this was actually used as fuel, these biocontainers, because just the way that fuel mechanics work, the fuel is consumed at a very set rate regardless of how many recipe cycles you're performing. So, yeah. That inherently means that it's going to be quite expensive in terms of the steel, glass, lead, and titanium over time once we need more biosamples. Significantly more biosamples. Now, the bone meal is actually going to come from converting bones from fish. Actually, it could be a few options here, but fully rendering fish because wow, that is a lot of fish for that many bones. Yeah, we're totally not doing 1 per second here. I actually did most of the infrastructure for the 1 per second on the red science, but yeah, I don't think that's gonna happen here, because that's gonna be 2,315 fish farms. Yeah. We're going to start with a little bit of green science, and then we're going to get uh, the individual rendering recipes for other things, and not worry about fish ever again. After that, I am only going to use fish actually for not even this recipe. It's going to be the wastewater recipe. I had to keep that recipe in there and get rid of the other one. That's the one. I need the wastewater recipe, which is that one that uses saline water. The saline water actually doesn't even matter whatsoever, right? Because I actually have like a full pipes throughput of saline water right now through my production of copper and iron. And since I am voiding the plates of copper and iron, that process keeps moving no matter what. And I'm voiding like the flue gas, and I'm voiding the uh, tailings coming out of it, the excess tailings out of it, which is another full throughput pipe of tailings that I have access to. Uh, so yeah, I have the saline. The saline doesn't actually matter at all to feed into this to give me the wastewater. Way more than enough wastewater that I need in order to make the biosamples in here. Only need 4 wastewater for the necessary amount of biosamples. The phytoplankton, though, that's gonna use iron ore at this phase of the game. There is no way around that at this phase of the game. But yeah, we will, as I said, we will manage. We will manage. Where's syngas? There you are. Oh, there's the syngas. Want to make sure that I have accurate stuff in here. Now, the goal for the day is not actually to get like working to get green science. That's not going to happen. In fact, there's a very very hard limiting factor for being able to actually begin this whole process. Sure, I could start making what I can right now, but it's going to be limited by the circuits. I can't really do anything with the circuits right now. Because I am in need of some biological stuff for this. The only, besides fish, or blood for urea, the only thing I need in here is the methane. And the methane, the only way I can get the methane right now is out of the moondrop greenhouses. Moondrop greenhouses. So I need moondrop for that. So there you go. There's moondrop. Now the actual science itself, through the biological samples, that's also going to need Relesia. So I need Moondrop and Relesia. These are going to require cDNA, which will require Retrovirus, which requires Vrauk cocoons. And that means that I need to make Vrauk first, which means I need creature chambers, which means I need Nextlit. So I did that in my head, by the way. I know these things. I know some things. There are some things that I know. I want to actually view this from in here. So here's all of the red science plate type stuff that I currently have access to. There are a few things I want to make note of here in Hellmod. A, there's no molten recipe at Red Science for a few things, including copper and chromium and lead and tin and titanium and nickel. Like all of these things, even the Nextlit, don't have a molten based recipe at Red Science. What has a molten based recipe is iron and aluminium. Those are like the only 2 things at this phase of the game. I don't know if zinc does. I haven't looked at zinc yet, because I don't need zinc anytime soon. I think. I think I don't need zinc. Zinc? Plate? Do I need you for anything of note before green science? No. I'll need zinc at green science, but I don't need zinc until green science to get into circuit 2s. That's what I need it for, and I don't even have access to any recipe to get it yet. In fact, it looks like, yeah, you need molecular decohesion 2 to get it out of blood, or 3 to get it out of brains and guts. Why would you spend brains? Just get it. Just get it out of, or Grodd. Get it out of Grodd, or phytomining. I don't know. I have to look and see what molecular decohesion 2. What science level is that actually? If it's Pi Science, that might be a slight problem. Wow, thank you so much for the bits. Mad Murdoch 2000, yay. Thank you. Thank you for that so very much. Molecular excuse me. How was that still in a... By the way, there's a poll going on right now. Through the end of today. It goes through tomorrow. It goes through the moment I wake up tomorrow, that poll, to vote for the YouTube stuff. So if you're watching this particular video on YouTube, that's already done and passed. But if you're watching live, you can do a vote on that poll, if you haven't already, to vote for what I should do as dedicated YouTube content going forward. I do have the expectation that the updated Pi tutorials are going to be a thing that happen, but I am actually particularly interested in what else people have in mind as content they want to see. Of note, I'm quite shocked that vanilla Factorio has as many votes as it does. But also I see that Crastorio 2 is pretty much up there as well on the votes. So yeah, that's a thing that is happening that I am interested in seeing. Also, yes, the few votes on the Subnautica, yeah, just makes me laugh. So this is a Pi Science, which makes me very, very, very sad. Very sad that this is a Pi Science. So what does this mean? What does this mean? This means that the only way to get your initial zinc is most likely going to be through excavation 2. That's excavation 1. Where's 2? So 2 is also green science. Fortunately, this is changed in PyBlock, I think. Yes, on this list here, it's what are my thoughts on Angels Bobs? A little simple, by comparison, to the Pi Suite. I like Angels and Bobs. In fact, when I first started streaming a little bit of over a year ago, just slightly over a year ago, I started with an Angels playthrough, a Bob's Angels playthrough. And a lot has changed since I did that playthrough. I have all of those VODs, by the way, on my YouTube channel. I do have a full Bob's Angels Space extension playthrough on my YouTube channel of stream archives. And back then, I did not know as much about fluid mechanics as I do now, / how to get around fluid mechanics. Like, I did not know at that time that a pump jack has an internal fluid box size of 100 units. So speed, the reason speed matters is because you can only get 100 units each time it cycles, regardless of productivity. And that the general max you can get over distance in a pipe is going to be 1,000 to 1,200 units, unless you're really short distance stuff. So it's like there's a lot going on with the fluid mechanics that really frustrated me towards the end of that playthrough, because I needed just so much sodium hydroxide for the amount of aluminium that I needed to get the science flowing at a good rate. It was like, oh god, so frustrating. Uh, just because I did not know about the actual fluid mechanics properly at that point in time. But now I know more about it, so it would be a little bit easier, and a lot has changed and been updated. F- Not this past year. Fluid mechanics have not actually properly changed in this past year, outside of the fluid mixing stuff. Uh, but anyway, my point here, right now, Pi Suite is that in order to actually properly get initial zinc, we're going to have to do this, which means we're going to have to go into drilling fluid 2. Can we get into drilling fluid 2 without zinc is a question that I will need to have to answer at some point. Drilling fluid type 2 with its collagen requirement. I think so. It's going to be a bit painful. You know what? No. Oh, yes, good. You need acetic acid to make the zinc acetate, which is the next step, right? So it's like, oh god, we have to actually make the acetic acid and to get the collagen that we need for this. But it's fine. It's actually fine. It is actually fine. We can do this when I get oil industry machinery 2, which is green science. So we're all clear. It's all fine. We can do it through that process. We just can't do it through other processes that are more bio-based type stuff. All right. Good. I have cleared up that thing. Now another thing was vanilla with Death World. No. Vanilla Death World Marathon? Nah. Nah, if anything with a vanilla playthrough, I would I hate to say it, but I would probably attempt to do the stupid there is no spoon achievement. The finish the like launch the rocket in 8 hours. Maybe. Because I haven't done that. I haven't done that yet. There's a lot of like achievement type stuff that I haven't done yet. Including the 8 hour thing. Particularly because I really don't like playing with biters in general. Uh, even when I played my vanilla games, I've I have beaten vanilla a grand total of twice. Ever. Once I did that, I went into Angels and Bobs. And then after going through Angels and Bobs with Space Extension twice, twice or 3 times, I forget. I forget if the stream was my second or third time doing Angels. Then I went into Pi. So then I went into Pi. And have been doing Pi ever since. Now, if I do the vanilla playthrough, it will be vanilla, and it will be without mods at all. Uh, so yeah, that'll be a thing. That'll be a thing. Also, I found a couple of fuel rods in shipwrecks randomly over the course of things. So I have these. I added factory smoke to this playthrough because I thought maybe it would help, but I don't know if I'm actually going to use these. They add order to builds That's one thing. They make builds a little bit more orderly. Their interior space is a logistics puzzle to solve, but they're not as useful because of the sheer size of pie buildings. So you would need more of these factory buildings to to do any build whatsoever in the pie suite. So I don't know. And we have so much landfill that does it really matter? Does it really matter? It's like we have so much landfill we can build outside, and if you have too many of these things, it's a performance issue. So, I am somewhat undecided on actually using these things, at least not for the main bus part of this build. Maybe we'll use the factory small buildings when I get access to the bigger ones, and am thinking about my train setups. So maybe long term we do blocks with Factorissimo buildings as the individual factories getting fed by the trains. Maybe. That seems like a certain idea to have, but not something I will focus on right now. Hello, Abe. Welcome. Welcome! I've just been talking for a little bit of time, going through my thought processes for going forward. As of right now, though, I need stuffs. I need stuffs and things. I need more burners. Because now is the time that I am going to make my beautiful syngas. It is time for syngas. Syngas from, well, coal gas first, and then syngas from coal gas. And it's 1 to 4. It is 1, 2, 4. 66.67, 66.67. Do I need coal gas for anything? I don't really think so. Not at the moment. I'll need it for ground boring, but not until we have green science. I'll need it for the copper, because copper's lubricant, coal gas, aluminium, iron, all of the, like, the vast majority of this is going to use this stuff. It is so stupidly unfortunate that I have no crude oil anywhere nearby. It is so unfortunate that there's no crude oil node that I can access anywhere nearby. So I can actually easily make lube. Go find it. I've been looking. I have been looking for it. I have been looking. It's not like I haven't been looking for this. Really? Nichrome? You can spend a nichrome to make heavy oil. Interesting. I have not found a small oil patch. I have found 1 oil patch total. A massive oil patch. I have found a singular massive oil patch. So I'm thinking the initial heavy oil is actually probably going to be this out of tar, heavy oil for lube. And it gives a whole bunch of coke as well, which is fine. Yeah, I have revealed this much of the map right now. I found a second source of tar. That's 1582. And I have found this massive oil patch. There's no other oil around the place. Like, I can still explore up here, and down here. That's relatively close, and of course, everything below is going to get revealed as the as the base expands southward, but for now, things are slightly problematic. Ever so slightly problematic. I need some, of these. I need steel. Steel? Steel. Beautiful, glorious, wonderful steel. And iron, and copper. So if you are just joining, relatively speaking, just joining, I have all of my red science right now. I have every single red science exists. I also am actually voiding iron, copper, tin, and aluminium. I void these things now. This setup is voiding excess copper and aluminium, and then down somewhere around here, this is voiding excess aluminium and tin. But I've got chests here for buffer, so I have buffers of these. It's just voiding the excess after filling the buffers. That is the thing that is going on there. Why? Why do this thing? Because tin and aluminium and iron and copper are tied together through this process. This process, making copper and iron, is the primary source of both, just as this process for the aluminium and tin is the primary source of both. The same applies to the lead and chromium, but I don't have a consistent demand for either at the moment. So, that is that. That is that. That is the reasoning behind these things. I am setting up syngas so that I can change what I am using as a fluid fuel for my glassworks buildings. That is what I'm doing right now. Noting as well that I need 2 of these. I'm also probably going to stick ash onto the bus, just by the way. Just as one of those by-the-way things. And I need an underflow valve here. So I want to talk a little bit about a very important topic. And that is niobium. Niobium in PyBlock is amazing. Niobium in PyBlock is completely free. Why? Because this recipe. So, you're going to need borax to get into green science, right? You need borax for the washed borax, for the diborane gas, for the boric acid, etc., etc. Good. Yeah, that's that stuff for the optical sets. Now, you also need borax to cast molten stuff. So to cast your molten plates, you need the washed borax. Getting the borax also gets you niobium, which is supremely powerful. Why? Because by default, if you have to actually mine niobium in a normal playthrough, mining niobium requires refined syngas to actually mine it, and that is the big limiting factor on obtaining niobium plates, besides the fact that you also need HCl and ammonia to and organic solvent to actually process the niobium ore. 3 really, really expensive things at the early phases of the game. So I appreciate niobium being with raw borax. Now this is a default PySuite recipe that has been reduced in its cost in tar for PyBlock. That is what I think has happened here. It is less tar per cycle in PyBlock, but this recipe does exist in the Pi suite. You cannot, however, actually do this until you get access to quenching towers normally, and that's not until green science. I think it's also a lot slower and a lot more expensive in the regular Pi suite, so it's really just a trickle. You don't get 10 each of the ores. It's a percentage chance of getting one, sort of like how the iron and copper normally is in that recipe. It's just a trace amount of things normally in the standard Pi suite, but this is the primary method of getting borax, and you just happen to get niobium with it. The copper chain also gives you molybdenum, rather than stone or gravel or whatever it normally is as a byproduct in the copper processing chain. You see, you get molybdenum here when you process your grade 1 copper into grade 2. Normally, I think this is either stone or gravel, one of those two. It is molybdenum ore at this point. So, yeah, Molly. Free Molly. You are able to process Molly only so far at this phase of the game. So, you can make the molybdenite powder, and you can make the molybdenite dust, but you cannot go further than the molybdenite dust. Unfortunately, it stops there. So you have to either void it or do something else with it. I think I'm just going to store a warehouse full of the ore for molybdenum for use later, and then void the excess. That is, I think, going to be the plan, because you can't go any further than the dust right now. You don't get early access to making molly plates, and there's no reason to have early access to making molly plates. So, yeah, that is going to be that. Now, I forget how, oops, I need to shift that out of the way. Unless this stretches all the way. Nope, doesn't stretch all the way, so I have to do that. This needs how many? One. One whole thingy. One whole thingy. Where's my thingy? There's my thingy. Pressure pump. That's the word I'm looking for. One whole pressure pump. This also needs to output a solid. All of these need to output a solid in the form of the ash. So let's actually do progress now that I've explained all this stuff. Just in case I add to this later, I will do that. Now, it's here that I'm going to do that and be like, hey, go to the right. Prefer going to the right, and then you'll be added onto the growing main bus. Oops. Can never draw a straight line. Never can draw a straight line. See? Even running in a straight line, I still get off kilter. So there's ash, so that I can have some ash. Why not? Why not? And that actually gives me a nice little visual indicator of where to put my doohickeys. How convenient that the tar is the first thing on the fluid bus. Now, just so we're clear, this fluid bus location is going to only be so wide before I need more belt. Before I need more belt lines. This belt line is reserved for coke. This belt line is most likely going to be the green science that will go up the line to here. So realistically speaking, I can just draw this line now. Ish. I need more belt. But this will be the green science. There we go. That's better. This will be green. It'll go up. Do its thing. Let's grab some more belt. Oh, I need more underground as well. How about other stuffs? I think I'm good on other stuffs. Yes. Yes, we're good. We are just fine. I could use some more of those, though. Try not to go too far away. Just thinking a little bit about having to do that and the actual escape of the syngas. Again, not putting coal gas yet onto the fluid bus because I don't particularly need it at this moment in time. Not like I need too much syngas anyway. Oops. Right. So this thing sort of made me a little off on this one. This is actually short a tile from max length on the iron pipes. So yeah, this line will get replaced with the syngas right in here. So realistically speaking, that will be replaced with that and then cleared. Clear that pipe. Thank you so kindly. I like that button, by the way. That is a good button. I like that button. Just clean the whole system. There we go. Enjoy the syngas. Syngas is very nice. Very nice. Now this feeds back some of the tar, which is why I have this underflow valve here. Some of the tar gets fed back from here. Yes, that button is amazing. I really particularly enjoy that button. That very, very nice button. Now up here there is another instance right here. That's gonna need a little adjustment, though. Kill that stuff. Do that, that, and that. Huzzah! Now we are fed by syngas. Yay! Those things are fed by syngas. Now I need to spend a ton of piped ground. Going up. All the way up. Probably don't have even remotely enough piped ground. Yeah, I don't even remotely have enough piped ground. Fortunately, the source of that is right here. Give me some iron. I could use some iron right about now. Or I can just move those things. I think I'm going to move those things onto the main bus, but not at this very moment in time. I'm going to get the stuffs. Ah, there it is. There it is, right there. So you can clean. And there we go. That, as they say, is that. Now all of the tar is going into the production of ores, basically. Now it's going into here for the syngas. Syngas for the molten, glorious, beautiful molten. And that is that. Yay! We did the rather important thing. the rather important thing. Now, what else is syngas actually used for at this phase of the game? Oh hey, you can mine raw borax. Nah, we're not mining raw borax. If I had aromatics, which I can make out of tar, out of creosote, I could have plastic, and I'm going to need plastic. But I need Nexlet. I need Nexlet for the biofactory. I need the biofactory for the plastic, and I need the plastic for the creature chamber. Is that it? What's the building? Yes, I got it in one. Yay! And you need the plastic for the creature chamber. I can't believe I remembered from the very beginning of the Paidu Valley playthrough this situation. This very intended situation that guides you and makes you craft these useful items that are used for other things as well. So you need the plastic for the creature chamber, the gene lab, and the incubator. And Nexlet from tailings, which I have a full pipe of. So, yeah, about that thing. I've got what I need to make Nexlet plate. I've got what I need to make borax. I've got what I need to do all of this processing here, which is what I wanted to focus on over the course of the day today. Even though I am voiding the outputs of most of these. Even though most of these I am just straight up voiding the output. Yeah, and I've got like a backup actually on these things. Why do I have so much stuff in this inventory? What's unnecessarily eating space? I think it's the stone brick that is unnecessarily eating the space, and I have some glassware on me. So, you know what? Here, go away. Glassware, and what else? That. Actually, I need the seaweed. Seaweed is my handcrafted circuits. I can get rid of that blueprint. I don't really need that blueprint right now while I'm not exploring. And yeah, just get rid of some of that stone brick, and that is better. Better. I have a whole bunch of buildings. I don't need the gasifiers anymore for the moment, anyway. Don't think I need those DDCs, but I'll need other buildings. I'll need a lot of other buildings. So I need 5 of those jaw crushers. All right. There's 5 of the jaw crushers. I need 6 of the screeners. I have 2, 3. More of these. More seaweed. More steel. Oh yeah, I have a thing. So I did a thing with the seaweed, by the way. I have taken all of the production of seaweed up here, and I have put it onto the main bus line of seaweed. So I have like a full throughput belt, 15 per second of seaweed. It is just fine. Don't need to make any more there. I also need casting units. That is 4, that is 5. That is 6 casting units in here. Oh, I hear a meow. I hear a meow at my door. They're not coming in until, like, at least 25 more minutes. But anyway, 6 of these. 4. 5, 6. Alright. We're good there. That's the copper. Copper is the most important thing right now. Because copper is a whole 2 per second. Less than 2, just under 2 per second. The iron is the same, but we don't need we do need as much as we want from it. The issue here is that going into the upgraded stuff, the casting of these things at Red Science, you see we're going to end up with a lot closer to 1-to-1 from the iron, as opposed to the copper, which is going to go from just below 3, or just below 2 to 3. That is a huge bonus, and we need as much copper as we can get. But you see, we're going to only have like 3 copper, as opposed to 10, or like 9 to 10 of the iron plates. We don't have the full 15 here, by the way. We don't have 15. We have it's more like 11-ish, 11, I think, around there. Around 11. So, yeah, it's like around 10-ish is what it will end up being. So, I'm going to start with the copper just because I feel like starting with the copper, and because the iron is going to require the borax first. So we'll have to do the borax first. This also gives me an opportunity to think about where in the world I am going to actually do these various ore processing setups. Where the hell? And will I move them elsewhere remotely, separately? I guess I'll move them later, once I do even further upgraded stuff. Beyond just the red science stuff. Now, once I get to green science and I can do the green science copper processing, that will dramatically increase the amount of copper that I end up with. Remember here that oh, this is the iron. Remember that I am using the realistic ores mod, that is showing you proper colors for copper and iron and such. So, in terms of the ore, so the bluish, the greenish blue color is copper, exposed copper, and the red is the exposed iron, because it's a rusty red for the iron, and a Statue of Liberty green on the copper. So, yes. There we go. Let's see. We start with these. We need 6 of them. I'll go ahead and do this with a little bit of space. I am not worried about space. Right up here. This will be fed that way, but not at that distance. At that distance. Doink, doink, doink. All those things, excuse me. I really do want to get into circuits, though. Circuit automation. Even though I know that it means that I have to do Vrauk and I have to do Moondrop at minimum. Just because of the not automated splitters right now. Like, I have automated my belts, my undergrounds, my loaders, but I can't automate the stacking or the splitters until I can automate my circuits. Just because this is going to do the handcrafting recipe for the circuits, which uses seaweed. Lots and lots of seaweed for that. So you, my good friend, are going to be processing copper. Copper into the grade 1 and grade 2. 3 and 6. Without any percentages there, so yay. Grade 1 and grade 2. Same thing, just in reverse here. Whoops. Do I filter here? I guess. Filter! Filter my grade 1 copper out. Because that's going to go into the 5 jaw crushers. That are going to make more grade 2, as well as moly ore out of this grade 1. So this is going to end up with 3 molybdenum ore that I'll have to deal with somehow. They're going to end up in a warehouse with the excess getting voided Probably all the way down here. I'm realizing that this won't even exist once I finish this, but oh well. There we go. And prioritize left into the warehouse. So that'll be for the molly. Once I get the molly ore sorted. Right there. On the right side. There you go. Let's see. There. That makes it consistent. Alright. I can get rid of that, actually, and do that. Oh. Spacing is everything. There you go. Spacing is absolutely everything. Yay, that'll be that. This will go up. Into there. Tile perfect, I guess. That'll go that way into the 6 casting units. Now, this is going to get deleted when I get into the green science processing. So green science processing is going to be significantly more steps than this. It's going to probably use the entirety of the rest of this up top, if I do that here. So just bearing in mind that that is a thing that will happen. More likely than not, what is the size of this building? It is the same as the automated screener, and we have exactly the same amount of those as screeners. There we go. I suppose I could do it one tile down. There. Just do that. There we go. Give me the copper. And then do that. I do not have enough splitters, because of course I don't. Of course there's never enough splitters. Never, ever enough splitters. And that will be the copper plate. Do I want to continue using this early mine? This 10 mil left in this early mine? I think the answer is no. I do not want to use this early mine. Actually. And now that I'm thinking about it, the iron ore from this mine is what I think I'm going to use for my phytoplankton. My early phytoplankton. Because I'm pretty sure if I look in here... Oh, I need a little bit more for the 1 per second, but I think I'll get away with the half that, the 1.9 something. I think we'll be okay on that front. Pretty sure we'll be alright. So I'm gonna have to do that and go up and over. also need to power this thing. Power the stuffs. They must have glorious, beautiful, wonderful power. Where's power? Power! Wherefore art thou? Where be? Where existeth this power? Blah. There. Power! We have a thing. We have Molly, apparently. So there's our plates. So now I'm going to say, hey, go that way. I'm going to cut this off. And what I'm going to do here is cut this off as well. I'm going to delete all of this. You know what? That can actually go, and what I'll do is I'll cut it off up here. There we go. That can just exist. I don't mind. I don't mind that sitting there doing nothing for all eternity. Get rid of all of that. All of that. This will go this way. Now, to race. To race ahead. Right. This thing. You no longer need to exist. I was using that as a source of tailings for that, so I have to get another source of tailings. That's fine. I can get tailings from right here. Hello, tailings. There you go. Enjoy. Enjoy the tailings. That cuts off a little bit of the iron as well, but I don't care. Here. Grab the rest of what's coming in from here. Oh, right. That's you. That's actually fine. That's actually fine. Yes. It's this one. That doesn't need to exist. All of this belt. Alright, down here, what I want to do / need to do is take my copper line. To there. And all this can get deleted. All of this. There we go. So, with all of that removed now, we have a little bit more space to work with, just slightly, as if that really matters for here. But more importantly, I get back a number of fast inserters, so yay, we have some fast inserters, and I can just connect all this now. Get those plates down. we're going to do about the same thing with the iron as well. But first I have to do the borax processing stuff before I can think about that. Because we need borax. Lots and lots of borax. Maybe here. Maybe here, I think, for the borax. It would need to go up and down. If I do it here, because I would also need to use some to make diborane gas and boric acid and all that wonderful stuff that you need for the green science. Of course, bear in mind this is only supposed to be like 3 per second, so yeah, there we go. Now we've got the that backup going through. Most of it will be voided. It will be voided. It shall be voided. Because everything is free, right? Everything is being made from water or space. It's fine. Nothing is limited at all in a PyBlock style of game. In a C block style of game, I should say. So voiding stuff doesn't matter. It came from nothing and shall return to nothing. What matters is the rate. The rate is what matters in here. And wow, that is a fair bit of molybdenum ore that we've already accrued. As I said, the rest is just going to get voided. The rest is actually going to get stacked and then voided. Where's my stacker? There you go. The rest is going to get stacked and then voided. Let's not forget about stacking existing as a concept. So, yay! We did the thing. We did the copper. We did the copper part, so that's good. Now it's the borax part. So the borax part uses 75 tar. Yeah, the only limit's the UPS. Right. That is true. The only limit is UPS. Huzzah. How's that poll doing? I just want to do a refresh, have a look. We are 12 votes for the tutorials update, and 7 on Factorio 2. Interesting. Very interesting. Moving on. I need some steam-powered doohickeys. Let's go into here and pin it. That needs to be steam-powered quenching towers. Thanks. I need 3 steam-powered quenching towers. Ignore the steam value, actually, because it's wrong. It is dead wrong. Absolutely dead wrong on the amount here. If I still had... Do I still have this? Yes, I have this. So, this says it's 1125 to feed these 8 quenching towers, giving me the iron and copper. How much is it in reality? So in reality, each one is consuming 10. That is the reality. Each one is consuming 10. Which makes sense when it has a consumption of 300 kilowatts, right? I suppose. Temperature's 165. It's 300 kilowatts. You know, I would personally actually expect this to be not 10. What was the math I was talking about last stream about this, my assumption on how this worked on the consumption? If it was the equivalent of a boiler, if 60 steam was 1.8 megawatts. Yeah, in this case, if 10 is 3, or is 0.3, if 10 is 0.3, then 60 times 0.3 is 18. So yeah, that's 1.8 meg. That is actually true. It is 1.8 megawatts. If there's 6 of these 60 steam is 1.8. Pretty sure 6 times 0.3. Yep, 1.8. That is accurate. So I was accurate in my thinking last time that it's the equivalent of the 60 steam. How much power you would get out of the 60 steam if you were to use it in a doohickey, in a steam engine. Each steam engine consumes up to 30 steam per second and produces 900 kilowatts out of that 30 steam. We generally think about this as 2 steam engines making 1.8, consuming 60 because one boiler makes 60 units of steam per second. And it consumes 1.8 megawatts of solid fuel. That is megajoules per second of solid fuel. So yeah, that's it. That's what I was thinking. So it's actually here with these 8. It's 80 steam, not 1,125. So Hellmod is saying that it's 1,125 units of steam per second. I'm imagining that that is because the steam doesn't have a temperature in here. It's probably assuming some really low temperature for the steam, not actually 165 steam. The amount of steam would be different if it was a different temperature of steam. Because all this says it is that it consumes steam. It doesn't say what temperature of steam. So it's actually going to base its consumption off of the temperature of the steam. So you could actually use, I would imagine, any temperature of steam to feed these steam-powered buildings. Which, you know, that's an interesting thing to note. I do, however, need 3 of these for what we're about to do, and I need a whole bunch of washers, so I need more copper plates. You know, just a few more copper plates. So let's head back to my buffer, where I have a nearly infinite supply. That's 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 of these glorious things. But we're like a minute from the break, which is unfortunate. I would have liked to actually have finished this build before the break, but hey, whatever. We talked a lot. I also placed like 300,000 or 400,000 units of landfill off screen, just as one of those interesting side notes. This thing had like over 400,000 units of stuff in it, of the landfill, this warehouse. So it was a few trips to expand the base fully to take care of that. So where am I going to build this? I just don't even at this point. I don't even. Odd. I guess I'll actually do it here for the borax, and that is the alarm signaling that we are halfway through the stream, and therefore that is time for a break. Time to end the VOD here. So for all those watching the VOD, thank you so much for watching. Do all the social stuff. I will see you on the next video, on the next VOD episode. For those watching live, I'll be taking a break. I will be back in a few minutes. Enjoy the music of Factorio.